This book is not only for people who want to become rich. This book will benefit people who want to improve their financial situation, even if it is something simple. Some people don't want to be rich, but wants to have an average income. This is the first part of the explanation of the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. In this video, you need a cup of coffee or the delicious drink that you love, and let's enjoy. Welcome, dear follower, to the Rich Books channel, where coffee, music, and book. The idea of the channel is that I read a book and give you a benefit. If you want to benefit from reading without what you read, subscribe to the channel. Let me start with a question. I will ask you a question. The first 3 thoughts that come to your mind as soon as you hear the question. You must record these 3 ideas. Write it in the comments, and if you don't want to write it in the comments, write it in a notebook and pen. It is necessary that you write it. You have the opportunity to pause the clip and prepare a pen and paper or write in the comments. 1, 2, 3. The question is, my dear follower, what does money mean to you? Directly write the first 3 ideas that come to your mind from this question. What does money mean to you? 1, 2, 3, write it in the comments or on paper. I expect you to write it. Beautiful. Now let's start explaining the book and you will soon know why I asked you to write it. Harv Eker, my dear follower, started the book like any author of a book about money. He told you that everything starts with an idea. I know you've heard this from me a lot. But today we will deal with it in a new way. The reason that made me explain the first part in one video was that I want you to get acquainted with this topic only because I was going to explain to you the first part and some of the second part and really enter the heart of the book directly from the first section, but I told him I will explain this part with a separate video in the case because it is very important and I want it ingrained in your mind. Harv Eker gave us a new perspective. And a new perspective is not just for money. A whole new perspective on life. He said to you, do you think that your low financial income is a problem? See the question. I love questions. Because questions open the mind, my friend follower. He told you is your weak income. The poverty you live in, debts or obligations, is it a problem? He told you that if you think so, you are wrong and you are wasting a lot of your time. He said if you spend all your life or a long period of your life believing that low income, obligations or poverty is a problem and trying to solve it, then you are wrong and wasting your time because you are trying to solve the result and not the problem. With serious talk. He says your low income is the result, not the problem. You have a problem, the result of which is your income. You have a problem, the result of which is your many obligations. Indeed, I like the intellectual perspective, and he told you that the biggest mistake is that you focus on your weak income or on your obligations, because that is not the problem. The problem that you have to solve is in you, and because of it, your income is weak, or your financial condition that you are in today is like this. He told you not just money. Your physical health is an outcome, not a problem. If you suffer from diseases, then diseases are the result of the problem, which is, for example, your bad food, lack of exercise, or insufficient sleep. Dear follower, if your relationships are always tense and you always lose people, then this is not a problem. As a result of the problem you are experiencing. You have problems in human relations and in communication skills with human relations. Same with money. Your financial condition that you are living in today and that will last with you for a period of time. And what I experienced before is the result of pre-existing problems. And he told you that the problems are in your mind, and that is why in this part he talked about the thought and says that your financial condition that you live in is because of your thoughts about money that are present in your mind. If you don't change your thoughts, you will never change your financial situation, you will never be rich, and you will never improve your financial situation. There is a very beautiful proverb that I like to use and one of the best proverbs that I have. If you do not change your behaviors and habits, they will not change and you will continue to get the same results always and forever. Do you know why the dangerous words he said in this part? He said that your thoughts, behaviors, and dealing with money are inherited from your family and the environment in which you grew up. Watch out, this is very dangerous. And Robert Kiyosaki, who I still see as the greatest who talked about money. The author of the book Rich Dad and Poor Dad, which we explained before, you can watch the videos, which will make you look at money positively. Robert Kiyosaki says your manners and behavior are passed down through the generations and taught in your family. And where you grew up. From poverty you learned from your surroundings and from the place where you grew up. Middle-income and middle-income people learned their lives from their families and from the environment in which they lived. The words of Robert Kiyosaki are true and the words of Harv Eker are true. Our ideas about money inherited our dealings and habits. Whoever is used to seeing his family spend continuously, you will live in the case of an average income. And whoever is used to seeing his family invest and create opportunities that increase income, you will be rich. In rare cases, it means that from wealthy families a poor person emerges, and from poor families a rich person emerges. Rare cases exist, and rare cases are hope, because you may be the rare case that is different from your family. And the evolution of your material life and change. Why not? Because in the end it is an option that is in your hand. In general, I do not want to prolong, let's focus on the topic. My follower friend said in 3 things that you inherited this thought. First, oral indoctrination or external suggestion through speech. If you are sitting with people, you always say that money is a means, not an end. Money separates friends, people, and families. Money for the greedy, money for the misers. Money changes people. And so on. All these sentences. If it is in your mind, make sure you heard it from your surroundings. He says your life that you are living today is because of the thoughts entrenched in your mind that you may be oblivious to in the first place. It is rooted and exists, and you do not know about it. But it is reflected in your external actions and your reality, and this talk is real and powerful to the extent that you imagine it. He remembers a time when my son, Johnny, told me that we had to go and watch so-and-so in the cinema near our house. He says I don't remember if he was ever in a cinema near the house. I said to him, "Who told you that there is a cinema near our house?" He said yes, there is a cinema near our house, because I heard it on TV. They say watch your favorite movie in the cinema near your home. My son was listening on television to an advertisement for a cinema, such as Box Cinema. She was making an advertisement saying that the cinema is close to your house, and that is why my son was affected. These are the first things I bequeath to you. You must write all the thoughts that exist about money in your mind, you must write them down on a piece of paper. You should write down all the thoughts about money in your mind and put them in your notes. Be it positive or negative. I mean, whether you say that money is beautiful or money is ugly, put it and write it on a piece of paper. Review all of these ideas and see what will really improve your financial situation and keep them. And any idea that made you a person who spends money a lot, or you do not try to develop it or improve it, delete it completely, not only from the paper, but from your mind forever. This is in terms of ideas. As for customs, he said it is the second source of inheritance. It is only tradition. He told you that many of us imitate either his father, his mother, his uncle, his aunt, or the people around him and close to him. We all imitate, so if your father always invested in real estate in one way or another, you would invest in real estate or things similar to real estate. If you imitate your father or imitate one of your relatives who you see as rich or imitate one of your neighbors or the surrounding people around you, you will imitate him and do the same. If the person you imitate is rich, you will become rich. And if he is average, poor, or always fails in his projects, you will always fail in your projects. Examples from reality abound. But this is actually true. And there are people who have values and principles that consider spending as a value that they will not abandon. Believe me, this is dangerous. This is a very dangerous thing. Robert Kiyosaki. He says if you don't question all your thoughts in your mind, you won't get rich. Watch out, you think you're right. Do not say that I am impossible to abandon this principle. This principle is true. No, do not say about any principle that exists in your mind that it is true. Listen to me carefully. If you have assets that work for you and bring you money, lock the video because your situation is complete. But people who suffer financially and their obligations are very many. Even a ticket he can't afford. A car he can't buy. So that he cannot help his family with spending or help himself with his financial development in order to live a decent life. Those people who suffer from the problem of income is the biggest evidence that the ideas that exist and the behaviors that they use with money are wrong. Because if our thoughts about money and our behavior on money are correct, then our material situation is correct. Look at reality. The biggest evidence is the one who teaches you whether you are right or wrong. Don't listen to my words, Robert Kiyosaki's words, or Harv Eker's words. Listen to what reality says to you. Your reality is a reflection of your thoughts and behaviors. Of course, we will talk about habits and their strong impact. I will explain the book The Power of Habits in the future. This book is one of the most powerful books in changing negative habits. Harv Eker says about his wife that she is used to spending her money always. If I give her $100, she spends $100. I give her 1,000, and she spends 1,000. If I give her 10,000, she spends exactly 10,000. He says it's not normal and we always used to argue about money. The reason is that her thoughts and behaviors about money are different from my thoughts and behaviors about money. We will conclude this point shortly. He told you the third point through which I inherited thoughts and behaviors about money is what happens in your life and is stuck in your mind. Sometimes it has an emotional impact. He talks about a nurse and her story is very touching. He says this nurse, when she was 11 years old, had a situation in front of her eyes in a Chinese restaurant between her mother and father. They disagreed on the issue of money. The dispute between them intensified to the point that the father stood up and started arguing with the mother to the extent that it affected his heart, and the father had health problems in the heart, and the father fell unconscious. They tried to save him, even she herself had information about first aid and tried to provide her father with first aid, artificial respiration, and so on, but unfortunately, the father passed away. He says this attitude affected her greatly. So she linked her father's loss to his problem with money with her mother. And you see that money is a source of unhappiness, so you must get rid of money permanently. He says the nurse used to say that my income is very high and despite this, his spending is complete. By strange things. You know when you have a lot of money once and enter a store, for example, electrical appliances, to buy any device and not use it. He says when I told her that this is the situation that affected you and this is the reason why you spend. He says at first she didn't believe me. He says and the biggest proof of my words is that when she grew up, she chose nursing and started treating people and helping them, as if she was trying to save her father to this day. Indeed, he says, she changed her ideas about money and her financial income, and she became a pioneer in her work. You too, there may be situations that affected you. Not sure, but it is possible that a situation occurred in your life that formed wrong intellectual perspectives about money, making you see money with pre-entrenched ideas or attitudes. The 3 ideas that I told you to write at the beginning of the video. I want you after you finish the video to ask yourself, are there ideas that help you get money, or ideas that help you get rid of money, and where did you get these ideas from? Are they really ideas that you adopt or are the attitudes affected you or inherited from your family and surroundings? Believe me, if you have written thoughts in notes that money is bad, do not be surprised that your financial income is bad. If you write that money is safe, do not be surprised that you do not want to take risks and enter into projects and lose your money because you are afraid of losing based on these ideas. I do not know what I wrote in the paper, but believe me, it has a great impact on your future plans and on your dealings with money and your idea of it. And I am one of the people who want to be rich honestly. I always talk about money with my family always. Once upon a time, I spoke to my father and said that we are living in debts and financial problems, and we must change our financial situation. Because it is an idea, behavior, and habit. It means things we do like buying things that are not necessary and other obligations involuntarily, but we must fight them and we must get rid of them. As soon as the money comes in, negative thoughts start spending. When money comes to me, I think about the missing things and what do I want to buy. Instead of thinking about how to invest and make the money come to me with more money. I changed my thoughts and my financial situation changed. Today I receive income and I am thinking about how to invest in the amount and make it increase. Harv Eker says your brain will convince you that you are right. Why? Because your thoughts about money are limited. I mean, for example, he says about his wife when she goes to the market and sees a bag whose real value is $1,000, but the bag has a 25% discount, and its price is $750. She says, "Oh, this is a chance," and buys the bag and thinks it has one. He says, "But I, on the contrary, see her as a loser because she spent $700 on a bag, even though she could have used this amount in an investment, in shares, in gold, or in anything that could benefit her and bring her money." But she considers it profitable, so he says the ideas that you adopt will reflect on you in reality. I will give you the butter of the video. I want you to imagine it as if it were informational files. Listen to the dangerous words. He says in the mind of each of us, there are knowledge files. You have information about eating, information about sports, information about human relationships, and information about money. He says when money comes to you and you want to deal with it, you go to your mind. Review the information in your mind about money. This is what you will use to deal with money. If the information is negative, you lose that money. And if the information is rich and powerful, you will make a fortune out of this money. And he tells you why poor people are when you get money, whether in millions or financial prizes, or lottery prizes, or in some other way they will return as poor as they were. And the rich like Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump are completely losing their money. After a while, they return rich, and maybe more. Why? Because they lost money, but they did not lose their thoughts and financial files that exist in their minds. Their financial information they did not lose. Says the millionaire loses his money but does not lose his information about the money. And so he returns a millionaire for the second time. You are also developing your knowledge about money. You read a lot about money. Correct the wrong information, get it out of your mind. You should learn a lot about money. That is why I always say getting rich is difficult, very difficult, not easy. On the contrary, it is very easy to be poor or average. But it is very, 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 very difficult to be rich, because it needs fatigue, it needs knowledge, it needs building a personality, it needs building relationships, it needs trials and mistakes and experience, it needs long hours of work, it needs breaking habits, discipline and commitment, it needs many things. Wealth does not come easily. And so the rich are few. 5% of the world is wealthy. 15% of the world is ordinary rich. 80% are of average condition and poor. You don't need to be financially smart to get a salary at the end of the month. And you don't need to work 8 hours a day for 30 days to get a salary. If you want to become rich, work with your mind. Like the rich, he thinks how to solve a problem or devise an idea to get money. The issue is not difficult. Your financial situation that you live in is because of your thoughts and habits. Ideas that need to be changed and developed. Habits must be changed and broken. If you do not change your thinking and change your habits, you will not change your financial situation. Let me end the video for you with these words that the great man of humanity, Steve Harvey, said. Before I show what did Steve Harvey say? Let me explain some things that happened to me. Ideas really do have a reflection on reality. Once upon a time I was curious to know how much a first-class ticket from London to New York would cost me. Direct flight, and I discovered that the amount at that time was approximately $4,000. Do you know what I said when I knew the amount? I said no. I can invest in this amount, and when I have income from this amount, then I will travel first class. I put the idea into my head when I found out about the ticket amount. After you succeed and have a financial income and start walking on the path of wealth, you must reward yourself with first-class travel or a picnic to a tourist place or natural scenery and other things. Let's go back now. Steve Harvey says you are a middle or poor person today. A first-class ticket is too expensive for you. He says I want you to settle that you collect money to book a first-class ticket. Book a first-class ticket and travel. He says when you travel on the first-class plane and see the large, spacious seat with luxurious wooden decoration. The dining table they provide you with, the screen, the services and other things are in the first class. Even the quality of the people you ride with in the first class will sit with a different segment of people. You can sit with investors, CEOs with high positions, managers, ministers, or owners of companies, people from whom you may benefit from everything in your life regarding the first degree. He says, after you try the first class, believe me, you will want to travel again. You will think about how to get the money that makes you go in the first class. The point of this is not to spend your money on a first-class flight. The aim of this is that you live an experience that stirs some feelings from within you and says to yourself, I want to live like these first-class people. And improve your financial income and try to become rich so that you can always get on the first-class plane. My follower friend, this is what happened to me after I read Robert Kiyosaki's book. My thoughts about money completely changed. This is one of the fundamental differences between the rich mind and the poor mind. If you want to pay for the first-class ticket, you must seek to increase your financial income in order to board the plane in the first class. And if you think that you will not be able to pay for the ticket, you will not actually be able to, because the idea is not present in your mind. In this part, Harv Eker says, thoughts generate feelings, and feelings generate actions, and actions give you results. So if the results that you are experiencing today from many obligations, poor income, poverty, or suffering in material life, then they are due to actions, behaviors, and formed habits whose source is originally the feelings that started from thoughts. It is the first part of the secrets of the mind of a million. In the next video, we will start taking the ideas that exist in the millionaire's mind, which will have a significant impact on the results that we get in the end. I hope that after this video, you will begin to reconsider your thoughts about money and adopt ideas that make you view money as power. And look at money as freedom. And look at money as psychological comfort. By the way, there is a small country that has emerged and formed a power because of its financial strength. And if you want to know what is the name of the country, go read about the US Federal Reserve. And who are his owners? And you will know the state and the owners of the federal bank, which I am talking about, and you will understand all the events that have taken place today, and why this state is so strong, even though it is small. You will know that money is power. By the way, the first three thoughts that come to your mind as soon as you hear the word money are power, freedom, and happiness. Dear follower, we have reached the end of the video. If you know someone who might benefit from this video, send him a link to this video. Do not skimp on it. Like the video will contribute to its spread, I will also be grateful to you. As I told you at the beginning of the video, the idea of the channel is that I read a book and give you a benefit. If you want to benefit from reading without what you read, honor me by subscribing. The dose of the channel has ended for today, my friend follower, until I meet you next week, God willing, with a more beautiful and better dose. Thank you for watching. And for your invaluable time. Goodbye.